Welcome back to #Hired, real bite-sized success stories from real VirtForce family members. I'm your host and VirtForce founder, Kimber Hill. Today, I'm leading this episode with a #Hired tip, teaching you to sculpt your resume for the job that you want with transferable skills. So what I hear often is, I'm ready to pivot to job B, but I've been working job A for so long, I don't know how to shape my resume to look like I am qualified for job B. And the reality here is that you are typically sitting on work experience that you're not thinking about relaying on your resume, right? So a good example is maybe you were a data entry clerk for 2 or 3 years, and you're seeking a role as an administrative assistant or an executive assistant. So we've got to start to work the resume to reflect everything you've done that would normally be done by an admin assistant or an executive assistant. So we sit down and evaluate, okay, those 2-3 years that you were working as a data entry clerk, what did your day actually consist of? And you might immediately default to, I'm entering data all day, every day into a piece of software, or I'm cleaning up data that's been entered by other people. But I want you to think about the full day and every responsibility. Were you managing a calendar? Were you managing a project management schedule? Were you helping your superiors, your managers, your executive team stay on top of tasks that they needed to be doing? So we're going to dig into those other responsibilities and pull them out. So the new resume would not be based on your title, data entry clerk, but it would be based on what you did, and you would lead with those skills that you want highlighted. So if you were applying to an administrative role or an executive assistant role, my top bullets under that job would be the executive and administration roles, responsibilities that I fulfilled as a data entry clerk. I hope this makes sense to you, and I'm going to give you a real example right now with a success story from Milspouse Katie Cremean. Katie didn't know what to do with her experience in banking and teaching. Those are two very different spaces, and she didn't want to work in either anymore. So we helped her get creative. We helped her realize what was really important to display on her resume, and those are the items that she wanted to continue doing. What you love about your current job is what you need to have on your resume so that you can attract more of what you love into your life. So now Katie is living OCONUS, yes y'all, OCONUS, in Okinawa, Japan, and is working a part-time role that fits her best. Let's hear from Katie directly right now. Virtual employment is here to stay. I'm military spouse, VirtForce founder, and your remote work expert, Kimber Hill. Subscribe now to learn how you too can thrive in the virtual workforce.
I found out about VirtForce through my friend Jordan, who was successful in finding a job through VirtForce as well. Jordan and I were in a squadron together in Norfolk, Virginia, and she and I both were looking for virtual work during a lull in our schedules, for sure. We were on the OSC together and grew really close, and she still has her VirtForce job today, and I was lucky enough to find one as well. VirtForce helped me in multiple ways. I have been a military spouse since 2014. We moved to a small remote location, and I have been looking for work since then. So it was a long time for me looking for and being unsuccessful and starting to feel quite defeated. But once I found VirtForce, not only did they help me take a look at my resume, they were able to help me sort of narrow down my search. So by being able to narrow down my search, I was able to apply for the correct jobs and not waste my time. So VirtForce also helped me look at my resume and realize what was important and what was not on there. I used How to Ace Your Virtual Interview, and I loved it. It was a great, quick resource that I watched every time before I would have an interview, just to remind myself of the best ways to make a great impression, especially since everything is virtual. You really want to look around and see what's behind you and have your talking notes in front of you, because it is harder to engage with someone through a screen. So it was, you can't make a first impression with a handshake through a screen. So it was a great resource. I really enjoyed the How to Ace Your Virtual Interview course. Honestly, that's the truth. It was an absolute, being that it had been so long since I interviewed. I had many jobs before this, but they were all in person and they were all, small jobs that weren't going to lead anywhere. They weren't career jobs. And so, having that course really did help me realize what I wanted behind me during these interviews and how I wanted to dress from the waist up and all of those things. I'm currently hired at the Ad Junkies. I am an ad strategist, and I have the two best bosses in the entire world and work for the best team I've ever been a part of. Right now, I have 4 magazines that I'm designing and working on, but I hope to have more in the near future. So for right now, I would say it's part-time with the potential to become full-time. Being that we are stationed overseas in Japan, I'm really looking forward to getting back to the States, where my work schedule will be more cohesive with the clients that I work with. And I think that will be easier for me. It's not impossible being OCONUS, but there are lots of nights that I'm up in the middle of the night trying to get a hold of clients, and I'm looking forward to not having to do that as frequently. What I love most about my new role is the team I work with and the clients I have. I started in March, really by myself, mid-April, and ever since then, I've grown as a person and as an ad strategist. I've made mistakes, and my team has graciously helped me with all of those, through all those mistakes, and shown me how to be a better ad strategist. And my entire team has been supportive. We have multiple chats open that we can ask questions, and there's always somebody that's there to give an answer. And then I have, like I said, I have the best 2 bosses in the world that, encourage us to look outside of just work, and do things that we love, and they support that. And you really couldn't ask for anything better with your bosses. I've known that I've made mistakes, and this is the first set of bosses that I've had where I haven't felt guilty for making those mistakes. It's been, how are we growing from them? How are we learning from them? How are we not going to let them happen again? And especially with Anna, she's been, don't worry. I've done that. I did that when I was first starting. I still do that today sometimes, or, showing me grace when I don't always deserve it. And that, as a military spouse who has a husband deployed, 2 kids, volunteering, you need to have people show you grace and support you no matter what. For my future with the Ad Junkies, there are some more behind the scenes jobs that other junkies have been taking on, such as the social media posting, and there's a position that helps fill orders. I would love to be full-time with the Ad Junkies, have multiple books in different locations, and to be able to do some of the behind the scenes and work closer with Anna and Steph. I know right now, since I am still relatively new to the team, they're bringing me on slowly, but I hope within the next 6 months, year, 2 years, that I can either train new trainees or help with Anna and Steph's behind the scenes work, because I really do enjoy working with them and working with my other teammates. I looked for remote work seriously probably for about 2.5 years before this, but I had been looking for work since 2014 when we moved to Fallon, Nevada. I did have a few jobs between 2014 and 2020. Yes, they were not remote. I was a fitness instructor at 2 different gyms. So, and then I volunteer. I'm currently our OSC president. Before that, I was my previous OSC, Officer Spouses Club, treasurer and social chair. So I'm always trying to volunteer and keep my plate as full and as busy as possible. The best advice I would give is to be patient and to look outside of your realm of expertise, because something that you think might not work could work. So I highly encourage you to really tap into VirtForce's resources, talk to your friends, take a good look at your resume, and just be patient, because the perfect job could open up very quickly, and then you'll be all set to go. I was in banking before this, so I was like, how can I do banking virtually? And I was a program director for the First Tee before this, and I was like, how can I teach kids virtually? So it was really great to see this job and talk to Anna and Steph and realize that I could do it and that I'd be good at it was really eye-opening for me.
A note for Katie. Hey, Katie. So when you're learning a new skill, you're definitely going to make mistakes. That's a given. We've all been there. And the goal at VirtForce is to pair you with employers who are going to create a healthy and supportive work environment for you to grow and learn. So I'm super thankful that the Ad Junkies is creating an environment that gives you grace and gives you the opportunity to learn. Stay in touch. We want to know how things change for you when you get back to the United States.